spent 2 days at NBA Summer League. Again. We lucked into a good one for our first game, as the number 1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg, taking on the number 2 overall pick, Dylan Harper. This is probably the most anticipated game of maybe all of NBA Summer League, and honestly, both stars showed their nerves to start. Flagg, as you could see in the before clip, was really stuck offensively through the first half of this game. He was getting swarmed by a lot of double and even triple teams inside of the paint and having to force contested jumpers and kickouts to some underqualified, I would say, players. Also struggled a little bit early with ball control and really an inability to find his shot. However, in the second half, both rookies were able to find their way, making for some very exciting moves. Finished with 31 on 10 of 21 shooting from the field. It really was the type of performance we've come to expect from Flagg offensively. He hit 3 threes, so was able to stretch the floor for the Mavs guards who, were able to at some point create some penetration at the rim. Guys like Ryan Nembhard. He was great with his back to the basket, was able to separate through a couple of really nice post-ups and then turn around Dirk Nowitzki-esque fadeaways, and then was also able to just get to the rim. He ended up with 13 opportunities at the free throw line, finished just 8 of 13, not his best day from the line, but could end up being a good day. Ended up loving what I saw from Harper as well. Harper finished with 16 and 6 and showcased an impressive ability to move both with and without the ball. I expect him to be an immediate contributor for a Spurs team with, playoff aspirations, and I think seeing him able to work off the ball and catch and shoot situations in the way he was gives me hope for how he's going to play with the pace and ball handling of a De'Aaron Fox. Also wanted to give a shout out to Carter Bryant, who really stood out in this one. Had a pretty spectacular game, and his ability to provide great on-ball defense on the perimeter or in the paint was really evident. He had a couple great stops on Flagg himself, and really anytime he was matched up against Flagg went scoreless against him. So I think he's going to be a great role player for this Spurs team and able to provide them some more defensive flexibility than they already have. Now the next game we showed up for was Hornets-Sixers, which was a bit of a doozy. Both VJ Edgecombe and Con Kneppel ended up being ruled out for the game before tip-off, meaning there wasn't a lot to get excited about besides LaMelo Ball and his wacky outfit courtside. Sixers G Leaguer Judah Mintz had a solid game though, and a couple of Hornets turned in some solid performances, much better than they looked as far as their youth a year ago. Tijon Salon finished with 16 and 2, had a pretty solid game, and looked a lot more explosive offensively than he did a year ago, especially finishing at the rim. Liam McNeely hit 3 threes, showing off some of his 3-and-D presence that made him a star in college. And Ryan Kalkbrenner, who's been rumored to be the Hornets' backup big for the upcoming season, showed some of the defensive capabilities which could make him fit in Charlotte, including a game-sealing block to give the Hornets the win. After a little bit of disappointment with game number 2, game number 3 was well worth the wait. There had been whispers all day of a certain NBA legend showing up for the Suns game. Sure enough, LeBron James there to watch as the Lakers took on the Pelicans. The building was packed with Laker fans, all with the same question: how would Bronny James look in his sophomore year? Bronny looked a lot better than he did a year ago, legitimately looking like the best athlete on the floor sometimes. He finished with 14 and 4, making some nice passes in the half court, and also finishing at the rim with some explosiveness. The Lakers weren't the only team with big headlines in this one, though. The Pelicans had 2 rookies playing in this one. Rookie Jeremiah Fears, as well as Derek Queen, who the Pelicans actually gave up a first-round pick to acquire, shocking the league. Queen struggled, as he has for most of Summer League. His offense hasn't really translated to the NBA level, with inconsistent handles and not a lot of explosiveness off the dribble. There were some defensive flashes, but not enough to make up for the lack of offensive production. Fears didn't fare much better, scoring 15 points but finishing just 5 of 21 from the floor. His efficiency offensively was a serious question during the pre-draft process, and he's going to have to find some answers before the season starts. Our night in Vegas finished up with perhaps the prospect I was most excited to watch across the entire weekend. Yang Hansen has taken the world by storm. Chinese basketball sensation, shockingly drafted in the first round, whose game kind of resembles one of the best in the world. There was definitely some clumsiness from Yang early, but he finished with 10 points and 3 assists, showcasing some of the incredible passing that's drawn him those comparisons. I'm excited for this Blazers prospect. I'm not sure how he's going to pan out, but there's a lot of exciting potential behind his game. And with that, we called it a day on our first day of NBA Summer League. Stay tuned for part 2.